The small spacecraft trembled as it broke through the atmosphere of the distant planet. Outside the window, the sky glowed with streaks of violet and gold, painting the barren landscape below in an alien light. Jalen, the youngest member of the exploration team, leaned forward, eyes wide with awe and curiosity. This was a planet no human had ever set foot on. The air was thin, strange winds whispered over jagged rocks, and the silence, it was heavier than anything Jalen had ever felt. "Status report," Captain Rhea's calm voice echoed through the cabin. "All systems normal," replied the navigator, checking his screen nervously. "No signs of life yet." Jalen frowned. Something about the silence felt wrong. He had explored many planets before, but this one seemed different. Alive almost. And then a sound, a soft, clear voice, cut to the hum of the spacecraft. "You have 1 minute to leave us alone." Everyone froze. The voice was small, almost like a child's, yet it carried authority. The crew looked at each other in shock. Where did that come from?" asked Rhea, her hand on her sidearm. From the shadows of the rocky terrain below, a small figure stepped forward. It was no taller than a dog, covered in soft, silvery fur that shimmered faintly under the strange light. Its eyes glowed like amber lanterns, and its gaze was sharp, intelligent, and fearless. "I know 17 ways to neutralize you," it said again, this time slower, emphasizing every word. The crew gasped. Jalen's heart raced. A cub. It had to be a cub. Yet the words it spoke, the way it stood, it was unlike anything he'd ever seen. His mind raced. Was it dangerous? Was it playing a trick? "Captain," Jalen whispered, "I think it's smart. Too smart." Rhea nodded, eyes never leaving the small creature. "Stay calm. Let's not make sudden moves." The cub tilted its head, studying them carefully. Its tail flicked once, then twice. The wind shifted, carrying its faint, almost metallic scent. Jalen noticed how the cub's movements were deliberate, calculated. It wasn't just surviving, it was assessing them. 17 ways, repeated the cub, as if enjoying the effect of its words. "I can stop you. Stop your machines. Stop your minds. All in ways you cannot imagine." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. One of the engineers, a tall man named Ortiz, whispered to Rhea, "It's just a cub. It can't. This is impossible." But then the cub did something no one expected. Its small paws lifted slightly off the ground. Object around it, a piece of metal, a floating dust particle, hovered briefly in the air. Light bent around it as if the air itself was being twisted. The crew stumbled back, eyes wide. "I said leave," the cub warned again, voice firm. Jalen felt a chill run down his spine. Every instinct screamed at him to retreat. Yet another part of him was mesmerized. This tiny creature, this cub, had courage, intelligence, power. It was as if the planet itself had sent a guardian to test them. Rhea took a slow breath. "We came in peace," she said softly. "We mean no harm." The cub's eyes narrowed. "Peace is fragile. You humans are fragile. You do not understand what you step on." Jalen's hand shook slightly. What is it protecting?" he asked, almost himself. The cub didn't answer immediately. Instead, it circled the team slowly, keeping its distance, observing, analyzing. Every step it took seemed measured, purposeful. Then it stopped, staring directly at Jalen. "You have 5? No, 4 minutes to leave," it said, each word deliberate. The cub paused, letting the weight of its words sink in. "Or you will face the consequences." Ortiz swallowed hard. "Consequences, what does that mean?" Before anyone could answer, a sudden tremor shook the ground. Dust and small rocks skittered across the barren surface. Jalen grabbed onto a railing for support. The cub stood firm, unafraid, its eyes locked on the crew as if daring them to move forward. Rhea's voice was firm. "We need to decide. Do we retreat or try to communicate?" Jalen's heart pounded. Retreat felt safe, logical, but curiosity gnawed at him. He wanted to understand this planet, the cub, and the mystery it held. He took a cautious step forward, careful not to threaten the creature. The cub's ears twitched. Its tail flicked once, sharply, and it spoke, softer this time. "Curiosity is dangerous." Respect is safer. Choose wisely. The crew froze. The words echoed in Jalen's mind, a warning and a challenge. Every second stretched, heavy with suspense. The planet seemed to hold its breath with them. For the first time in their mission, the explorers realized they were not in charge here. Not yet. And the cub, the small, fearless cub, was the true guardian of this world. The small cub's eyes never left the crew as they slowly backed away, unsure of what to do. Its soft fur shimmered under the alien sky, and the wind carried its warning like a whisper in their minds. Jalen's curiosity burned brighter than his fear. He wanted to step closer, to understand this creature that had spoken of 17 ways to neutralize them. "Stay calm," Captain Rhea said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We don't know what it can do." The cub tilted its head, as if listening to her words. Then, unexpectedly, it bounded forward, not aggressively, but with a confidence that startled everyone. Dust swirled around its tiny paws as it stopped just a few meters from them. "You want to learn?" the cub asked, its voice small yet filled with authority. "Then watch carefully." Jalen's mouth went dry. The cub lifted one paw, and a small rock nearby began to hover in midair. Slowly, the rock spun, moving in a perfect circle around the cub. The crew gasped. Jalen stepped forward cautiously. "How?" Ortiz murmured. "It's just a cub." The cub's eyes glowed brighter. "I am more than I seem." Then it did something even stranger. The air around them shimmered, like heat rising from a fire, but cold to the touch. Small fragments of debris lifted from the ground, spinning around in precise patterns. Jalen realized with all that the cub was not just intelligent. It was controlling the very environment. 17 ways, the cub repeated, "and I will show you only one if you are careful." The crew looked at each other, unsure whether to be amazed or terrified. The cub's calm composure and clever demonstrations made one thing clear. It was not a threat to itself, but it could easily defend against anything hostile. Jalen stepped a bit closer, holding out his hand slowly. We come in peace," he said softly. "We don't want to hurt you." The cub studied him. Its amber eyes seemed to peer into his mind, reading his intentions. Then, with a tilt of its head, it made a small chirping sound, almost like approval. A spark of trust flickered. "You are curious," the cub said. "Curiosity can save you or end you." Suddenly, a low hum filled the air. The crew turned to see shadows moving across the rocky ground. Small predators, thin and fast, with glowing eyes. They were circling, testing. Jalen froze. "Move carefully," the cub warned. "Do not frighten them. Do not fight unless necessary." The creatures lunged forward, but the cub raised a small paw, and a barrier of energy shimmered into existence around the crew. The predators slammed against it and hissed, unable to reach them. The cub's fur glowed faintly, and a wave of light rippled outward. Within seconds, the predators scattered, retreating into the shadows. Ortiz staggered back, eyes wide. "It saved us, all of us." Jalen knelt down slightly, awe and admiration mixing with fear. You're incredible," he whispered. The cub blinked slowly. "Incredible? Perhaps. But intelligence matters more than size. Do not forget this lesson." Captain Rhea cleared her throat. "We need to understand more. Who are you? Where did you come from?" The cub circled them, sniffing and observing. It seemed amused by the questions. "I protect this place, this outpost, the planet itself. Others, like you, have curiosity and danger in their hearts. You must prove your intentions or leave." Jalen looked around at his team. Their weapons were useless here. Brute force meant nothing. Only careful thought, respect, and trust might save them. The cub seemed to understand this perfectly. "Follow me," the cub said finally, turning toward a narrow pathway leading to the outpost ruins. "But step lightly. Watch everything. Learn quickly." The crew exchanged nervous glances. Following a small cub into the unknown felt reckless, but something about its presence commanded respect. They had no choice but to obey. As they moved, Jalen noticed the cub's every movement was precise, almost calculating. It paused to observe the environment, sniffed at strange markings on the rocks, and tilted its head toward hidden passageways. He realized this tiny creature knew far more about this planet than any human ever could. Do not mistake size for weakness, the cub said over its shoulder, almost like a lesson. All threats are equal when knowledge guides action. And knowledge, I have much of it. The team followed in silence, each step heavier with anticipation. The cub led them through jagged rocks and hidden pathways, showing glimpses of alien machinery and strange symbols carved into the walls. Every corner held suspense, as if the ruins themselves were alive, watching them. For the first time, Jalen understood the cub's warning was not just about danger. It was about respect. And respect, he realized, might be the only way to survive this world. The cub paused on a rocky ledge and turned, its eyes gleaming in the dim light. "We will see how long your curiosity lasts," it said. "The planet watches, and so do I." And with that, the team felt the weight of the unknown pressing around them. This was not just exploration. It was a test. And the small cub was their guide, their teacher, and perhaps their judge. The narrow pathway twisted between jagged rocks, leading the crew deeper into ruins of the alien outpost. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the ground, as if the planet itself was watching. Jalen's heart pounded with excitement and unease. Every sound, the whisper of the wind, the creak of metal, even a faint hum of unseen machines, made him jump. The cub moved ahead confidently, pausing occasionally to tilt its head or touch a strange symbol etched into the walls. Each time, a faint light glowed along the carvings, illuminating parts of the outpost that had been hidden in darkness for centuries. "Look at this," Jalen whispered to Ortiz, pointing at a doorway covered in intricate markings. The designs pulsed faintly, almost as if alive. The cub stopped at the doorway and sat back on its haunches, eyes fixed on the team. "Not everything here is meant for your kind," it said softly. "Step carefully or the outpost will judge you." Captain Rhea exchanged a wary glance with Jalen. "Judging by what?" she asked. The cub's tail flicked once. "By your intentions, by your knowledge, by your respect." The crew stepped inside cautiously. The room beyond was filled with strange devices, some hovering in the air without support, others spinning slowly, their purpose unknown. Holographic symbols flickered on the walls, shifting in patterns that made Jalen's head spin. Ortiz reached out to touch a small floating cube, but the cub leaped forward, placing a paw between him and the device. "Do not touch," it warned. "Learning comes before action." Jalen's curiosity surged. "What is this place?" he asked. "Who built it?" The cub's amber eyes glowed faintly. "It was built long before humans could imagine. Its purpose, to protect the planet from intruders and to record knowledge. But only those who understand are allowed to see it fully." A low hum filled the room suddenly. Panels of light slid open, revealing hidden compartments. Inside were more artifacts. Strange tools, crystalline objects, and what appeared to be fragments of alien writing. Jalen carefully picked up a small, transparent cube. It glimmered in his hand, projected a miniature landscape, a simulation of the planet, showing mountains, rivers, and even tiny moving creatures. "It's a map," Jalen whispered, "of the whole planet." The cub nodded. "Not just a map. It shows the planet's life, its defenses, and its secrets. Many would kill for this knowledge, but knowledge comes with responsibility." Suddenly, a mechanical hiss echoed through the room. A hidden panel slid open in the floor, revealing a narrow staircase descending into darkness. The cub crouched low, its fur shimmering as it stared down the passage. "Below, many things are sleeping," the cub said. "Things that wake only when disturbed. Choose your steps wisely." Jalen hesitated. The air from below was cold and smelled faintly metallic. The rest of the crew looked uneasy, but Rhea's curiosity pushed her forward. "We need to see what's down there." "Carefully," she ordered. The cub led the way, hopping lightly down the stairs, showing no fear. The crew followed, feeling smaller with every step, as if the darkness itself was testing them. At the bottom, they entered a massive chamber. The walls glowed faintly with energy lines, forming patterns that pulsed rhythmically. In the center of the room floated a sphere of light, spinning slowly. Every time it rotated, holographic images appeared. Ships, creatures, and events that none of the humans had ever seen. Jalen's mouth went dry. What is all this?" he whispered. "It is the memory of the planet," the cub said. "Everything that has happened, everything that might happen, it is stored here, and I guard it." Ortiz stepped closer to touch the sphere, but the cub growled softly. "Respect it, or face the consequences." Suddenly, the chamber shuddered. Lights flickered. Something moved in the shadows, fast, silent, and unseen. The crew froze. The cub's fur bristled and its eyes blazed brighter. "They are coming," it warned. "They test intruders." They sensed fear and hesitation. Jalen's heart raced. "Who is coming?" The cubs gazed in waver. "The watchers of the planet. They will know if you are worthy or not. Do not fail." Every instinct screamed for the crew to run, but the cub remained calm, standing protectively in front of them. Its small size seemed insignificant, yet its confidence radiated power. Jalen realized the warning was clear. The cub alone was enough to hold back even the unknown threats of this world, but only if the humans trusted it and followed its lead. Rhea stepped forward, determination in her eyes. "We will respect this place," she said firmly. "We will learn, but we need answers." The cub blinked slowly. Answers come to those who observe, listen, and think, not those who rush or demand. As the chamber hummed with alien energy, Jalen felt a strange connection, like the planet itself was alive, communicating through the cub. The mystery of the outpost deepened, and with it, the sense of danger and wonder. For the first time, the crew understood that curiosity alone was not enough. Survival here required respect, intelligence, and courage, and the cub, the small, fearless cub, was their guide through a world that was far older, far smarter, and far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. And somewhere deep within the shadows, something moved, watching, waiting. The chamber's hum settled into a steady rhythm, and the crew began to explore cautiously, their eyes wide with wonder at the floating sphere and alien machinery. Every corner of the outpost seemed alive, responding to their presence. But the cub remained alert, its ears twitching, its eyes glowing brighter than before. Suddenly, a low, mechanical growl echoed through the walls. The lights flickered violently, casting strange shadows that danced across the floors and ceilings. Jalen's heart skipped a beat. "What now?" he whispered, gripping a railing. The cub's tail twitched sharply. "They've come. Prepare yourselves." Before the crew could react, the walls vibrated as a group of alien drones emerged from hidden panels. Sleek and metallic, with glowing red sensors, they moved with terrifying precision. Their claws scraped against the stone and their light scanned the room, searching for intruders. Ortiz froze. We can't fight them. They'll tear us apart." The cub crouched, its small body glowing faintly. "Stay behind me. I will show you the first of 17 ways." With a flick of its paw, a ripple of energy surged through the chamber. The drone stumbled as if struck by an invisible wall. Sparks flew, and their red eyes flickered. Jalen's jaw dropped. The cub, small as it was, seemed to control the very energy of the room. "They had stopping them?" Rhea asked, her voice trembling. "Yes," the cub said calmly. "This is one way. There are 16 more." The drones regrouped, circling faster. They emitted a high-pitched sound that made the crew wince. One lunged toward Jalen, but before it could reach him, the cub leapt into the air. A beam of shimmering light shot from its paw, striking the drone. It froze, then fell harmlessly to the ground, motionless. Jalen stumbled backward, eyes wide. It's incredible. How can such a small creature do this?" The cub landed gracefully and fixed them with a stern gaze. "Size is meaningless. Intelligence, strategy, and timing matter. You will learn this soon." Another drone darted toward Ortiz, claws extended. The cub tapped the floor, and a sudden wave of energy knocked it sideways, sliding it harmlessly across the chamber. The crew held their breath. Each movement the cub made was precise, deliberate, and deadly without ever harming them. "They're testing us," the cub said calmly, "to see if we are worthy." Jalen realized something terrifying. If the crew had acted recklessly, the cub would not have protected them. Its 17 ways were not only defensive, they were lessons, teaching humans to think, observe, and respect. The drones regrouped again, more coordinated this time, faster and sharper. They attacked from multiple directions, trying to overwhelm the cub. Jalen felt panic rise. We can't survive this if it fails. The cub's fur glowed brighter. It leapt onto a raised platform and spread its small paws. Energy rippled across the room in a dazzling display of lights, forming barriers, deflecting attacks, and disabling the drones with precision strikes. Sparks and hums filled the chamber as each drone fell, one after another, neutralized but unharmed. Rhea's hand rested on Jalen's shoulder. I can't believe this. That tiny creature is saving us from impossible odds. The cub landed back on the ground and circled the crew. This is only the beginning, it said. If you survive, you will understand more. But remember this lesson. Do not act recklessly. Do not underestimate what you cannot see. Intelligence and respect are your weapons here. One last drone attempted a surprise attack from above. The cub sprang into action, spinning through the air, and struck with a precise motion. The drone froze mid-flight, and then toppled gently to the ground. Silence returned to the chamber. The crew exhaled, shaken but alive. Ortiz sank to the floor. I thought we were done for. That was amazing. Jalen knelt down, watching the cub carefully. It saved all of us. Every single one. The cub's amber eyes met his. I warned you, it said softly. Curiosity is valuable, but only when paired with caution. Learn quickly, humans. The planet has many more tests. Rhea nodded slowly. We will respect this place. We will learn, but you must trust us. The cub tilted its head. Trust is earned, not given. Follow carefully. Observe. Listen, and do not rush. As the drones retreated, slipping back into hidden panels, the chamber's light stabilized. The alien sphere in the center continued to spin, casting a soft glow. Jalen felt a strange mixture of fear, awe, and respect. The cub, small and seemingly fragile, had taught them a lesson they would never forget. Power was not in size or strength, but in intelligence, strategy, and the courage to respect what was greater than oneself. And somewhere deep within the shadows of the outpost, Jalen sensed that the planet itself was alive, watching, waiting, and ready to challenge anyone who dared to enter without humility. The cub, vigilant and calm, returned to its position near the wall. Its gaze swept across the team, silent but commanding. Jalen understood then that their journey had truly begun. Every step, every choice would be tested. And the cub, the small, fearless cub, was their guide, their protector, and their teacher in a world far older and wiser than humanity could comprehend. The crew woke to a quiet hum, the alien outpost bathed in the soft glow of its mysterious energy lines. The cub had been awake all night, its amber eyes watching them carefully, unblinking. There was a calm tension in the air, one that told Jalen this planet had secrets yet to reveal. Why does it guard this place? Ortiz asked quietly, still shaken from last night's events. Jalen shook his head. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's not just a cub. It's something more. The cub approached, moving with a quiet grace. Curiosity will guide you, but knowledge will save you, it said. It is time you understand why I exist. The crew followed it to the deepest chamber of the outpost, a place that seemed untouched by time. The walls were covered with ancient symbols that pulsed faintly. In the center lay a crystal sphere, larger than any they had seen. It radiated energy that made the hairs on Jalen's arms stand up. This sphere, the cub began, is a record of the planet's history, and of mine. The cub paused, as if choosing its words carefully. I was not born like your creatures. I was created, engineered to protect this world. I am its guardian, its sentinel. My knowledge, my abilities, they are the product of centuries of design. Rhea stepped closer, eyes wide. Created? By whom? The cub's tail flicked. A species that came long before humans. They foresaw that others would come. Creatures of curiosity, creatures of greed. I was their last safeguard. I am the one who ensures balance, the one who tests intruders. Those who fail are removed. Those who succeed may learn. Ortiz swallowed hard. So, it's not natural? You're engineered? Yes. the cub replied. But do not think that makes me weak. Intelligence and foresight are more dangerous than brute strength. Every mechanism I know, every strategy one employ, is designed to defend this planet from threats, small and large alike. A low vibration ran through the chamber. Jalen glanced at the walls. Holographic images appeared, showing enormous ships descending from orbit. They were massive, sleek, and unmistakably alien. The cub's eyes narrowed. They arrive, it said. A threat that tests all life. They seek control. They will see if this planet and its guardian can withstand intrusion. Jalen's heart pounded. They're coming here? Yes, the cub replied. And your choices now will decide if humanity survives this encounter. You have learned some lessons, but much remains. You must trust intelligence, not force. You must respect knowledge, not conquer it. Rhea tightened her jaw. We'll do what we must. But why tell us this now? Because, the cub said softly, you are part of the test. Not all intruders are destroyed. Some learn, some survive, some earn understanding, but all must recognize their place. Ortiz, still uneasy, whispered to Jalen, This is bigger than anything I imagined. We're just humans. Yes, the cub said, as if reading their thoughts. Humans are fragile, but curiosity gives you potential. Courage and intelligence can make you more than fragile. But only if you listen, only if you respect what you cannot yet understand. The images of the alien ships grew larger, closer. Their red sensors glowed as they scanned the planet. The cub's fur bristled. They will arrive in hours. Your next lesson begins then. You will see the true power of the 17 ways and why they were created. Jalen looked around at his team. Fear and awe mingled on their faces. This cub, small yet fearless, was not just a guide. It was a sentinel against a threat far greater than they could imagine. Its 17 defensive mechanisms were not tricks or toys. They were survival tools, designed to protect life itself. The cub turned to face them fully. Prepare yourselves. Learn quickly. Trust in intelligence. Trust in strategy. And above all, trust in me. The hum of the chamber grew louder, almost as if the planet itself was responding to the approaching threat. Jalen felt the weight of responsibility pressing on them all. They were no longer mere explorers. They were part of a living, breathing test, one that could decide the fate of an entire world. Outside, the alien ships descended slowly, their massive forms casting shadows over the jagged landscape. Inside, the cub's small figure glowed with quiet determination. Jalen realized, with a mixture of fear and awe, that the cub was ready, and if they were to survive, they would need to follow its guidance completely, without hesitation, without doubt. The real danger had arrived, and the cub, their small, fearless protector, was ready to show why it had been created. To save the planet, and perhaps to save them all. The horizon glowed with the approach of the alien vessels. Massive ships, sleek and metallic, cast long shadows across the jagged landscape. Jalen's heart pounded. The air trembled with the hum of their engines, a sound that carried both awe and fear. The planet seemed to hold its breath, and the cub's fur shimmered faintly with an inner light, as if it were drawing power from the land itself. They are here, the cub said calmly. The planet's trial begins. Watch, learn, and act carefully. Your survival depends on intelligence, not strength. Rhea gripped Jalen's arm. We have no weapons that can match that. What do we do? The cub's amber eyes glowed. Observe first. Every movement is predictable if you understand patterns. They are strong, but not wise. Their attack relies on fear. Do not give them fear. The alien ships descended slowly, scanning the terrain with piercing red beams. Suddenly, a massive drone shot down toward the outpost, weapons charging. The crew froze. Jalen felt the panic rising, but the cub remained calm, crouched slightly, ready to act. With a small leap, the cub unleashed its first defensive mechanism. A pulse of energy shot from its paws, striking the drone. It spun harmlessly into the air, its systems temporarily disabled. The crew gasped. This is one of the 17 ways. Ortiz whispered, all mixed with fear. Yes, the cub said, and the others will follow. Watch closely and learn. Timing, observation, and strategy will guide you. Brute force alone will fail. More drones approached, attacking in waves. The cub moved with astonishing speed, small and agile, each motion precise and calculated. Energy fields shimmered into existence, deflecting attacks. Floating debris became shields, while beams of light disabled the drone systems without causing permanent harm. The crew watched, mesmerized, as the cub orchestrated the battlefield like a master strategist. Jalen realized something important. The cub's mechanisms were not just about defense. They were lessons. Every move, every pulse of energy, taught them how intelligence could overcome overwhelming force. Rhea whispered, "We need to help." "But how? We're human, we can't compete with that." The cub glanced at them. "Use your minds, not your strength. Observe the drone's patterns. Communicate. Distract when necessary. You are part of the defense now." Jalen nodded, understanding. He and Ortiz coordinated to manipulate small devices in the outpost, creating reflections of light and sound confuse the drones. The cub's energy pulses synchronized with their actions, each move complementing the other. Slowly, the tide of the battle shifted. One massive drone broke through their defenses, charging directly at Jalen. The cub sprang forward, small but unyielding, and used a subtle motion of its paw. A wave of force struck the drone, spinning it harmlessly to the side. Jalen's stomach tightened. Without the cub, they would have been crushed. The alien ships above began to retreat slightly, scanning the battlefield with caution. The cub's eyes glowed brighter, its energy radiating outward like a shield over the outpost. Every drone that attacked was neutralized, every strategy anticipated. Ortiz, finally humbled, whispered to Jalen, "I never imagined such a small creature could hold back something this powerful. It's amazing." The cub turned to them, amber eyes calm but commanding. "This is the final lesson. Strength is meaningless without understanding. Force is useless without strategy. Respect the unknown. Observe carefully. Act wisely, and you will survive." The last wave of drones hesitated, sensing the combined power of the cub and the crew. Then, one by one, they retreated, slipping back into the alien ships above. The sky cleared, leaving only the hum of the planet and the quiet glow of the outpost. Jalen exhaled slowly. His knees felt weak, but relief and awe filled him. The cub, small yet unyielding, had just protected them from an overwhelming threat. Its 17 waves were more than defense. They were a masterclass in intelligence, strategy, and respect. Rhea stepped forward. You saved us. All of us. And you didn't even harm them." The cub's tail flicked once, softly. "I protect life, not destroy it. Those who understand may survive. Those who do not are removed. You have survived this trial. But remember, the planet watches, and it is patient." Jalen looked at the cub, understanding the weight of its words. This small creature, engineered centuries ago, was far wiser than any human. It was not just a guardian. It was a teacher, a strategist, and a sentinel for a world far older and more intelligent than humanity could comprehend. The alien ships finally retreated into the horizon, leaving the planet and its outpost untouched. Silence fell. The cub returned to the central chamber, calm and vigilant as ever. Jalen, Rhea, and Ortiz stood together, humbled and enlightened. They had witnessed true intelligence in action and learned that courage, respect, and careful observation were the greatest weapons of all. And somewhere deep within the shadows of the outpost, unseen eyes watched as the planet prepared for whatever challenges might come next. The showdown was over, but the lessons of the cub, small yet fearless, would remain with them forever. The alien ships had vanished beyond the horizon, leaving the jagged planet bathed in the soft glow of its twin suns. The air was calm now, almost peaceful, yet it carried the weight of the trials the crew had endured. Jalen, Rhea, and Ortiz stood together in the central chamber, watching the small cub as it moved gracefully among the ruins. Its amber eyes were calm, alert, and wise, reflecting a power far greater than its size suggested. Jalen knelt beside the cub. You saved us. All of us. I don't know how to thank you." The cub tilted its head. "Gratitude is not required. Understanding is enough." Rhea nodded, her voice thoughtful. We've learned more than I ever imagined possible. Not just about this planet, but about ourselves, about intelligence, patience, and respect. Ortiz remained quiet, still humbled by his earlier attempt at betrayal. He watched the cub with a mixture of awe and regret. I see now. Power without respect, it's meaningless. You taught me that the hard way. The cub's tail flicked once, gently, almost like an acknowledgement. Lessons are learned through experience, sometimes through consequence. Remember what you have seen. The planet, the outpost, the tests, they're all mirrors. They reflect who you are and who you may become. Jalen looked around at the chamber, at the glowing spheres, the alien machines, and the intricate symbols etched into the walls. Everything here spoke of intelligence far older and deeper than humanity. It was humbling and thrilling. We have to leave, Rhea said softly. But will it follow us? Will it protect the planet if we're gone? The cub crouched slightly, its fur shimmering in the dim light. I am its guardian. The planet watches through me. I do not follow you. I remain here. But remember this, intelligence and respect can travel beyond worlds, if you carry them within yourselves. Jalen's heart sank a little. He had grown attached to the small, fearless creature. It had saved their lives, guided them through the outpost, and shown them lessons they would never forget. And now, they had to leave it behind. As the crew prepared the spacecraft, the cub approached one final time. It stopped in front of Jalen and fixed him with those piercing amber eyes. Remember, human, knowledge is stronger than force. Strategy is stronger than strength. Curiosity is a gift, but only if tempered by respect and wisdom. Jalen nodded, feeling the weight of the words settle deep in his chest. I will remember, he whispered. The ship lifted off slowly, leaving the outpost and its small guardian behind. From a window, Jalen watched the cub sitting atop the rocks, calm and vigilant, as if the entire planet flowed through its tiny body. He realized that no human could ever fully understand its power, but they could learn from it. Outside, the landscape stretched endlessly, alien and beautiful. Strange winds carried whispers across the rocks, as if the planet itself was speaking to them. Jalen felt a shiver of awe and respect. Humanity had survived, but only because they had listened, observed, and respected what was greater than themselves. Ortiz broke the silence, finally speaking. I thought we came to explore, to discover, but we learned something else. Life intelligence. Sometimes the smallest beings can teach the greatest lessons. Rhea smiled faintly. And sometimes survival isn't about fighting or conquering. It's about understanding, patience, and humility. Jalen looked back one last time. The cub had returned to its perch, glowing faintly in the alien light. Its amber eyes met his for a brief moment, calm and knowing, and then it turned its gaze back to horizon, watching, guarding, and waiting for the next trial. The crew fell silent, each lost in their thoughts. The planet had tested them, the cub had guided them, and they had survived. But the lesson lingered. There were worlds older, wiser, and far more dangerous than humanity could imagine. And arrogance, impatience, or greed could cost them everything. As the spacecraft disappeared into the sky, the cub's figure became smaller and smaller, a lone guardian in a vast, alien world. Jalen realized that sometimes the most powerful beings were not the largest nor the strongest, but the wisest and most courageous in ways that truly mattered. And somewhere deep within the ruins, hidden among the glowing spheres and ancient machinery, the planet waited patiently. It watched the stars, it tested all who dared enter, and it whispered through its guardian. Curiosity is a gift, respect is a key, and knowledge is eternal. Jalen exhaled slowly, feeling a mix of relief, awe, and humility. Humanity had survived this trial, guided by a creature no larger than a dog, yet wiser than anything they had ever known. And the story of the small cub, fearless, intelligent, and vigilant, would remain with them forever, etched in memory as a lesson to the planet that no human could conquer, only understand.